Welcome to the Dr. Leadership Show, where we take a look at how you approach your work and personal life and how we can make the most out of both of them. A weekly get-together where we get real about self-improvement and development as we all make this not-so-easy journey through life. Our discussions will cover ideas and concepts from how to grow your career to how to lead your family towards prosperity and happiness. We don't pretend to know it all, and the doctor is the first to be vulnerable, discussing his own weaknesses, both past and present. This is about growing together and having some fun while we discuss what is happening in the crazy world we live in and how to make the most of it. Let's strive for awesome together. Let's get after it. Hey everybody, welcome to the Dr. Leadership Podcast. Hope you're having an awesome day. Been an awesome weekend. It is dead solid perfect outside today. So going to finish my recording today and then head out and enjoy the wonderful weather. Hope it's nice where you are. Hope if you're the East Coast listeners, the storm wasn't too impactful on you. My daughter down in the Carolinas said it was just kind of, her words, gross, but not terrible storms. But I know some areas got hit pretty hard. Remember this, we'd love to hear some feedback from you. I can be reached at the email address of drleadershipresults@gmail.com. And also we can be found at our website. And we've loaded up some great interviews over the last several months. And that's where you get early access at the episodes. That's where you get access to the Leadership Lounge, where other people come in, join the show, give us their insight. So it's not just the doctor talking. It's really the doctor doing more listening and pulling great stories out of others. And we can be found there at www.drleadershipresults.com. Click on subscribe. Check it out. Small investment every month. Share it with your team. Share it with your family. Share it with your kids. Getting lots of positive impact results from people crossing over some significant numbers on downloads, etc. Today, I want to hop in following up. So remember last week, we talked about use the difficulty and handle hard better. The Duke women's coach, of course, has that. Talked about my wife having sweatshirts that say it, etc. It was funny. I had somebody reach out and say, "Hey, just listen to your latest episode." And I said, I live with a coach, basically. And I sent him a picture, and it was my wife wearing a Handle Hard Better sweatshirt just when he had reached out listening to the episode after I'd loaded it up on the membership site. Thanks to the member out there, Matt. You're a stud, fella. This week, I want to kind of spin off of that. It ties in. Most of these talks I give are kind of taking you on a journey, and we meander down a path for a few weeks, have some conversations, try to tie some things together. Then we come back to the main trail, go down a little bit, find another interesting avenue to go down, and we go down that. I got a couple more episodes trying to tie this stuff together around handling hard better and use the difficulty. This week, I want to talk about perspective and self-reflection, because they're two different things. And I'll get to kind of explaining what I mean by this in a minute. But let's start with some self-diagnosis. So this is you have to contribute this week, and you got to jump in here. And it's a real easy question. Are you admired? Ooh. Deep thought. Think about it. Do you feel, is your self-perception, but do you feel that you are viewed as a person that others would aspire to be? Now, I'm not talking about, not aspire to have the job you have, not to aspire to be the leader. I don't want to aspire people to be in charge of the business unit. That's not what I'm talking. I'm not talking about aspire to have the things you have or the perceived life you may have by looking from the outside in. So it's not about the role. It's not about the things. But are you admired for things such as these? How you treat others. Oof. I'm going to talk more about each of these. Your work ethic. Are you admired for your work ethic? I don't know. Are you admired for your listening skills? Your empathy? Your personal drive? How about something like honesty? Are you admired? because you're an honest person, even when it hurts? Here's another H word. How about humility? Are you admired because you're a humble and show humility to others? How about grateful or gratitude? Are you would people aspire to be you because, man, he is such a grateful person? He shows a lot, or she shows a lot of gratitude. Remember, this is all self-reflection. Are you admired for how you are a good teammate or for teaming? I don't know. Are you? What's your thought right now? First thought. And then finally, followership or fellowship, whatever way you want to say it. Are you admired by people around you and they would follow you into the battle of life? Would neighbors do what you want to do and follow you into something? Would people join in a philanthropic event or item that you want to be a part of because you've created good followership? Would your team go over the hill for you to drive results? Are you admired? This is a tough one because this is digging deep into your own little psyche here. So let's just go through these. First, let me back up a second. Let's take or talk a change in perspective here for a second. So if you were the people you were interacting with, would you see yourself, if you were one of those people that you interact with every day, would you see you, meaning another person, let's say you're Bill, and you tell Bob what to do all the time, or you lead Bob. If you're Bob, would you see Bill or yourself as being worthy of admiration? This is where it gets hard to have some self-diagnosis going on. Drop the robust self-confidence here. Drop any narcissistic tendencies, right? Hey, we all want to be proud of what we are, right? Drop what you post and share on social media, fake book and Insta scam. I hate them. It's all fake. Nobody's showing their true life out there, man. Very, very, very seldom. Very seldom. Think about how you act when the cameras aren't on. Think about what you really are when you don't get to type up something that you want to impress the world for likes about. Do you walk the talk? Do you walk the posts that you put out there? I participate in Instagram for the laughs. It's like having America's Funniest Home Videos at your fingertips. The internet is hysterical. And many times I'm laughing at what people are posting that they're proud of. Because I'm like, I can't believe this idiot actually thinks that's cool. Or I can't believe this idiot actually thinks that's admirable. It's crazy. But do you walk the talk? So let's walk through these. Let's talk about that first one. Are you admirable on how you treat others? Let's talk about how you treat others. Are you kind and friendly to everyone? Or are you selective in who you give your best attention to? If you turn on the charm only when it can make a difference or a positive impact for only you or yourself, and don't treat everyone with care, concern, and happiness, then this is not a trait that is admirable in your case, in your bag of tricks right now. Do you treat the cashier and the CEO the same? My mom used to say that's an older saying. My dad treated everybody the same. My mom's never had a cruel word with anyone in her life. Now, if you cross her, 5'2" thunderstorm coming at you, batting the hatches down, man. Shirley's going to take you on. But if you do not treat others kindly when there's no self-advancement in it, that is not an admirable characteristic that you currently have. Treating others well needs to happen all the time. Not when it just benefits you. How about work ethic? We talked about work ethic a minute ago. This is a real broad topic. since I'm only talking a few pieces here maybe. So when I talk about work ethic, what I was thinking about when I wrote that down, willingness to help is maybe a better subtitle there. Are you willing to stop and help others or offer help even when you're not asked to, or even when it doesn't progress what you're working on, or even when you're probably a little too busy to offer to help? Are you willing to do anything you ask others to do? Are you perceived as a person that is willing to do anything that you ask others to do? Would the perspective of others, of you, agree with your assessment here on any of these? That's the the perspective difference that I talked about a minute ago. I talk about my parents a lot on here, and my siblings, and my wife, because they're near, and my children. They're near and dear to me. They're the examples I get to see the most, or have gotten to see the most, or got to see the most. My dad's been gone for 12 years now, almost 13. Sad. Great man. 1 in a million. I'd say 1 in 7.5 billion. There's not another Harold Taylor out there. One thing that was one of the many things that was great about my father and my mother too. I'm going to tell a story about my father, but his name was on the front of the building. It was his business. He and 2 brothers owned it. Worked their asses off to get it done. You'd go in and you'd ask for Mr. Taylor, and they'd say, go through those double doors. And there'd be a guy in a white dress shirt with a broom in his hands. That was Mr. Taylor. Broom in his hands. Now, there were 175 people past those double doors in the back that he was responsible for. Could have easily told anybody there, hey, sweep the floor. But he knew that if he did this, if he showed that type of work ethic and that type of willingness to help, that it was the right type of culture to be driving into the entity. First of all, he didn't do it with intent to create something from it. He did it because that's how he was built. My mother still works her tail off, engages with anybody, lives in the retirement community, is on every committee she can be. She's 94 years old now. It's getting very, very hard for her. Still sharp as a tack, but just physically it's hard. So it's slowing down a little bit, but always willing to help. I can remember my mom was a beautician in the 1940s. Okay. She went to beauty school, got herself out of high school, moved from a small Iowa town to the big city of Des Moines. Just for everybody listening, it's Des Moines. No S sound on the end. Just like it's not Illinois. Okay. It's not Charlotte. Charlotte, Illinois, Des Moines. But she came and did beautician work until she started having babies in the 50s, 1950. Quit working, stay-at-home mom. We were very, very fortunate family. It was check to check back then. Now, fast forward to when she was 90 years old, a woman down the hall had a shoulder injury. And she couldn't get her hair done. And Mom happened to see her, and her hair wasn't looking as great as possible. And Mom said, I used to do hair. I'd be happy to help you with your hair every once in a while if you want. Now, that turned into every morning for 5 months, this woman knocking on her door at 7:45 in the morning, and my mom pulling out the curling iron and the brushes and trimming things up. But she was willing to help. Are you willing to help others? Mom didn't need to do that. She's 90 years old. There's a beauty shop in the retirement community. Could have easily done that, but she knew the woman was going to have to pay for it. She knew it was bothering this lady. Man, that is some good personal endeavor right there. So do you do things that you're asking others to do? Dad swept the floors. Mom handled this lady's hurt arm. There's thousands of examples. I'm sure you can see them. Are you a person that does that? There's always a time when we can't because we're so busy. But do you ever? Have you ever pulled over and helped somebody with a flat tire? Have you ever seen somebody at the store whose arms are so full? They're coming out of the home improvement store, and you can see that, man, they got a lot to load on the back of that truck. I've gone over, this isn't about me, but as an example, I've gone over to Home Depot, go, hey, man, you need a hand with that? He and his wife, maybe she's not, maybe it's mulch, right? My story was mulch. Help him load up the back of the truck. It's 40 bags, man. It takes me 5 minutes to help this guy. I didn't need anything for that. I could have gotten in the car and driven off. Tell you what, I did feel great afterwards. Pay it forward, right? Pay it forward. Are you a good and caring listener? This is another one. This is an admirable characteristic. Many times people listen impatiently, wanting to get back to talking about themselves versus hearing how others are doing. Which are you? Are you a good listener or are you a good talker? The world is so interesting if you stop and listen to what is going on around you, what others have going on. People have interesting lives. Remember this. I'm going to speak for myself here for a second. Everything I know, I think I'm perceived as a person that knows quite a bit, especially at work. But I understand that anything I know, I've learned from somebody else. You aren't born with skills. You aren't born with knowledge. You aren't born with capacity in certain areas already in your body. Skills and knowledge are acquired from others. Truly listen. Don't just listen to respond, but listen to learn. That's when people will admire you, since you will show a more caring approach. That is an admirable attribute in your life. Hey, are you empathetic or empathic? Both words will work. I prefer empathic. My wife taught me that. Are you able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and be caring here? I mean, do you really get it? I'm not talking about joining in pity parties with people. I'm so sorry it happened. It's terrible it happened. There's times for that. But I'm understanding, what I'm saying is not the pity party, but understanding the perspective of what others are facing. Many people are really, really struggling right now. The world is in the crapper. I mean, watch the news. I mean, you got to watch somebody that's going to be a reliable source, but people need support and help and optimism. That's admirable. Is when you can look at somebody and say, you know what, they're struggling right now. This doesn't need to be about me today. I need to care about Sue or John or Kelly, Patty, Bill. Be empathic. Understand the challenges they're facing. It's not really good to go in and talk about the new thing you just got when you know others are living check to check, which 75% of the country are. People are making 3 to 5% less, thousands of dollars less a year than they did 3 years ago. Gas is $4.50 a gallon again, $7.75 a gallon in California. Let's quit drilling. That makes sense. Honesty. That's another admirable trait. Do you tell the truth even when it's not showing you in the best light? First, serious question. First of all, be honest to yourself. Narcissism is an awful trait. You nor I am anywhere close to perfect, so be vulnerable to that fact. This is a big perspective opportunity here. If you aren't honest to yourself, you will never be admired. Their perspective might be, she thinks she is so awesome, but in reality, she's a damn train wreck. I know some of these people. I watch it happen. I go back to the fake book and the Insta scam. Those are there nothing more than to lie to yourself and to others. Look at me, I'm on vacation, it's perfect here, my wife is wonderful. Look, my husband loves me, look, my wife loves me, look, my kids are perfect. Blah, blah, blah. Life's hard, man. Nobody's going through life that easy. Then there's honesty to others. This is leaders is an important one. This is family members is an important one. Call people out that aren't being honest to themselves. A few bruised egos are going to happen, but it's never hurt anybody. My wife has had to have direct conversations with me before. I've had to have direct conversations with my wife before about, hey, man, that isn't cool. Or a lot more coming at me. It'd be hard for me, you know. She'll probably ask me for an example, and I wouldn't be able to come up with one the other way. She can come up with lots of examples about me. I'm always a work in progress. Bill Burr says, the comedian, I love talking to my wife. It's always so great on how we're working on me. Met a couple the other night, had a great dinner, off to side talk here, and we were kind of feeling people out first time together, feeling each other out, and we were talking about comedians, and my wife and I, you know, crude and dirty and pick on. We love Chappelle, we love Bill Burr, we love these people, you know, these people that aren't politically correct because they pick on everybody. I mean, I'm laughing at myself in these things, but Bill Burr, yeah, we're always so interested in me working on me. But you got to be honest with yourself, and then there's times where you have to be honest with others. Again, it's the perspective thing. Help correct people and go, I know you think this is how it's coming across, but it ain't. And this helps people get moving in the right direction to correct it. You can't fix what you don't know is broke, man. And narcissism and self-confidence are not important. I was going to say important. Self-confidence is important. Narcissism is nasty. But self-confidence, we've been taught, be confident in yourself. Be you, those types of things. Well, don't be you if you're an asshole. We need to work on you then. This next one, actually these next couple, I think are really, really, really important. All of them are important. And there's more that aren't on this list. But humility. Man, be humble. Everyone likes to talk about themselves. I've said this before. Write this one down. Life is better when be interested, not interesting. And what I mean by that is be a great listener, be humble, elevate others. Let them feel good about themselves for a little bit. Now, if it's a lie and shame that they're doing this, that's not true, that's when you refer to feedback up above. But let others know that they're doing great too. Don't be cocky. Be confident quietly. Braggers are not admired. They aren't. Actually, what it shows, again, I've said many times before, I'm a psychologist by experience. I do couch time with people every single day, listening. That's a lot of what my job is as a psychologist. But braggers are not admired. Actually, it shows an insecurity issue. When they focus on yourself, or when they focus on themselves too much, that is a big insecurity. Look at me, I really am great. No, seriously, I'm great. No, look over here, I'm great. Look on Facebook. Haven't you seen on Facebook how awesome I am? Did you see my Insta-scams post? I'm awesome. No, Susie, you're a train wreck because you aren't humble. You show no humility. You're brash. You don't listen. You aren't honest. You got shitty drive. Come on, Susie. Pay attention. That insecurity is going to hurt you in the long run. Trust your actions will create admiration, not your words. Let your talk and walk be the same. Admiration will come. People rejoice in good things. Just do good things. Don't talk about how awesome you are. Just be awesome. The next one, I said that these two were important. So humility, be humble. The next one, gratitude. Be grateful. We complain about first world problems, all of us, all the time. People are going hungry, man. Look at what's going on with the homeless and the drug addiction in this country. Semi-loads of this crap coming across the border. Let's give free drugs to people, Portland. Oh, that worked out well, didn't it? Flipping it. Third world, San Francisco. Used to be one of the greatest cities in the world. Bottom 5 in the world right now. So remember, people are hungry. People are addicted, overdosing on drugs, living in squalor. Be grateful for the help of others. Show gratitude through different approaches. to thanking others when they least expect it. Pay for somebody's coffee behind you because you're grateful you're able to go through a drive-thru and you can afford a $7, 600-calorie whipped cream with a coffee bean flavor. Had a situation a couple weeks ago. We're having a home expo here in town. And a lady in the neighborhood was going to get, trying to get tickets from the builder. And she sent a text out, says, I asked for tickets because of all the shit we're going through. And I said, what are you going through? And she goes, guys, there's construction and dust and noise. Well, it's a new subdivision. You live in a $1 million house. And when your house was being built, there was noise and dust. And people weren't complaining about that. At least I hope they weren't. That is some serious first world challenges you're facing there. You could instead be so grateful that I am fortunate and we are fortunate enough to live in a neighborhood where the Home Expo is being held this year. Are you kidding me? Be humble. Have humility. Be grateful. Show gratitude. The 9th, almost the last. Are you a team player? To be admired, you need to play well with others. Play well in the sandbox, right? I gave a list of 10 today. There's lots of other attributes that can be admirable and what it takes to be admired. These were the first big 10 that came to the top of mind. I could do 3-4 more shows on this. But one of them is, no matter what list, you got to be a good team player. You got to play well with others. Lone wolves and self-centered people, they suck. Don't suck. In the game of life, sharing the spotlight is far more rewarding than standing on the podium alone. Not to take anything away from individual results. Don't mix up the message here. But anybody that has had great individual results has a team of people around them that helped him get there. Michael Jordan won the MVP, but he won the MVP because he had 8, 9 other great players around him, and they won a lot. He got fed the ball a lot, ran good offense, had a great coach, great trainers, right? Great crowds, great contract, great agent. You win a marathon. You had somebody that was preparing your meals probably. You had somebody that got up at the crack of dawn every day to make sure you ran your 20. Being a part of a team is so much bigger than that. Some days you get to be the hero on a team, and other days you get to be the cheerleader. And a lot of those cheerleader days are more rewarding than when you were the hero. It's nice to make the last second shot. It's nice to bring the big deal in. It's nice to be the top person in your category in selling or life or whatever. But man, none of that is around you in the tough times to help pull you up, motivate you, inspire you. This is an admirable skill and approach to your general life. Be happy for other people succeeding. It's okay to be competitive. That's really good. But be happy when other people do good. It's admirable. Finally, I want to talk about followership, or fellowship, however you want to say it. All of the prior 9 skills lead to this one. If you don't practice those 9 others, people won't want to follow you. I'm not talking just business here, but in your home life. Kids want to admire their parents. Parents certainly want their kids to admire them. Sometimes that's not easy. Sometimes kids don't have enough experience and are not tough-skinned enough or not understanding what the bigger lesson is when you get in their face and get in their grill a little bit. We've got a society today that's easily offended and harmed, and that's a tough one too. I think you've all figured out I'm a pretty direct guy, right? Sometimes my messaging can be misconstrued. I love my kids. I want them to admire me, and I want to admire them. The second part is why I am sometimes hard on them. I want to admire my neighbors. I want them to admire me. Reps want to admire their leaders. When you look around and forget it's sales reps, let's just talk employees want to admire their leaders. So be admirable. If you take these 10 things and you practice them, not only will you be admirable, but you'll be awesome. Keep that shit up. Talk next week.